Hello, everyone, and welcome to our little special event here with Stacey Agdern in conversation with Lucy Eden. They will be talking about Stacey's newest book and who knows what else. So I am going to leave you all to it. Have a great time and put your questions in the comments. Thank you.
Okay, so Stacey, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right. Hi, my name is Stacey Agdern. I am a New Yorker. I'm a hockey fan, and a big Lucy Eden fan. My newest book, The B'Nai Mitzvah Mistake, came out June 1st. And I'm just really excited to have this conversation because I get to read.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, I'm Lucy Eden. I write contemporary romance, paranormal, kind of just whatever I'm in the mood to write that day. My brand is funny, dramatic, and steamy. So, if you pick up one of my books, you're going to get all three of those things. And yeah, that's about it. So let's get into it. So it's called B'Nai. Can you B'Nai?
Sure, absolutely. So B'Nai Mitzvah Mistake. It's fun.
Okay.
Yep. And the thing is, like, one of the things that I thought about a lot, like when sort of getting to this book, was what's next, right? Like, I think we had millions of conversations about that, like what to write next. It sort of ended up interesting that B'nai Mitzvah Mistake is about an adult coming of age, a conversation about an adult coming of age ceremony, when you have like two people in the book who are at a crossroads. But for a lot of different reasons, I recently have been thinking about where the ideas come from. And one of the things I adore about your books and the way that you write generally is how you switch from subgenre to subgenre flawlessly and fantastically. So I think the first question that I have in my little ridiculous brain of mine is, how do you get your ideas? How do they start?
Yeah, my brain, honestly, it's a very scary neighborhood. You just never know what's going to jump out at you from behind a dumpster. So that's kind of how it works. I get a lot of my ideas from songs, movies. I just will randomly, something odd will occur to me, and I'll be like, oh, I wonder if I could explore that. Like, for instance, my one of my books, Everything's Better with Lisa, was inspired by the movie The Jerk with Steve Martin, and also the movie, in English it's like Water for Chocolate. In Spanish it's Como Agua para Chocolate, and it's they're two very, very different types of stories, and I just kind of wove them together in this book that a lot of people like. So yeah, it's just anything that I find really interesting, I think it's really fun to explore with characters.
It's interesting.
So
it sounds in some ways similar because your books come from things you love, things that fascinate you,
yes, absolutely,
interest you. And the same thing is with me.
Yes, that is one thing I do love about your books, which I was gonna ask a little later, but I guess I can kind of weave this in now, is that your books are very reflective of your personality, and they're very culturally rich. So it is literally, when you pick up one of Stacey's books, it's like you're meeting Stacey, which which I love. So I would love to talk about the very rich cultural aspect of all your books and how you incorporate your culture and your faith, and yeah, just make these really amazing, charming stories. So that's really what I want to know.
Well, I mean, it's, once I stop blushing for a second, um, I think that like it's that same idea, right? Things that fascinate you, things that interest you, the questions that come up when you're studying things you love, and the cross sections between things you love.
Mhm.
Like going back to sort of the whys and the wherefores behind the B'nai Mitzvah Mistake, like studying sports, studying the sort of intersections between sports and Judaism, I discovered that a football player had his bar mitzvah right after he retired. And I was like, that is the most
That's
fascinating thing
amazing.
ever, right? Like,
I love late in life bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. Like, I love it. Like a 45-year-old that's like,
yep.
look, I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like for whatever reason, they are making space to do this. And I think it's fascinating and I think it's amazing. And like, but the thing is, as you well know, you can't just write a book based on one idea. Like one idea is going to get you maybe 1,000 words if you're lucky. So like
Yeah.
whatever that sort of fun nugget of information for me is going to go into my, what I like to call my mental idea, like the mental idea file, right? And it's going to sit there until something else sparks it. And then, so again, cross section between sports and Judaism. Two different articles by two different hockey players talking about the need for community. One was in the Athletic, and I think one was in the Jewish Telegraphic something news. I don't even know. And these two hockey players, there was a sentence you literally could yank from one to the other, copy and pasting it. And I was like, literally, and the two of them were talking about this desire for community. And I was like, that sounds familiar. Because I searched for the same thing, in the aftermath of a loss of a professional writers group that was not as professional as we thought it was, but that's another story entirely. One of the things
the tea is piping hot today, y'all.
Yeah, apparently a little bit of more roar in the conversation.
Right.
But like, one of the things that I searched for was a Jewish community of writers. And that's how I ended up in the Romance Schmooze Discord, which is great fun and awesome. But
that's great.
Those quotes by those two different Jewish hockey players that could be copied and pasted echoed what I was thinking at that time. And I was like, oh, I know this struggle. I know how this works.
Yeah.
So it got tied to the player who was having his bar mitzvah. And then the rest sort of fell into place because the female main character was going to have her bat mitzvah as well. And then it all kind of spiraled, and the other rest of the little snippets of story sort of tied together, and there you go. That's how you ended up with the B'nai Mitzvah.
Yeah.
But I think like...
Yeah, I think that's... Oh, no, you go ahead.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Like, no, like I think that's how it works, right? Like, you get these ideas from the things you love, you tie them together with a bow, and you end up with a book.
Yeah, and I think that's a really beautiful point, because even though we write stories about two or more people falling in love, there's also this external journey and character arc, and most of the time it's about really finding yourself and finding where you belong. So yeah, community is you know, it's very strong, you know, it's almost like the third, the third protagonist.
Definitely. And I think like also when you're writing, like when you've written enough stories, because this is again another thing I'm thinking about recently for reasons. When you're writing enough stories, you get to debate whether or not you're going to interconnect them. You know, the larger sort of story community, the storyverse, right? Like, are these
Yes.
things going to cross over? And I like that idea. I personally love the crossover.
Yeah.
I love moving
Same.
characters from book to book. Okay. What is
Same.
I have a couple of characters that definitely cannot stay in one book and refuse to stay in one book. And I'm actually going to start writing one of them shortly. But do you have those characters that cross over from series like to series, from series to series? Tell me about those characters.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, so like I said, I am just completely bonkers. So I mentioned earlier that I write contemporary and paranormal. So all of my books, they all take place in the same universe. So there are like shifters running around with, you know, contemporary characters. One of my, two of my books. So Resolutions was a contemporary romance. It was a holiday romance, you know, about, you know, New Year's resolutions. Surprise, I spoiled it. Um, but the sequel, one of the B characters in Resolutions became one of the protagonists in the second book, which is Bear With Me. And Bear With Me is a paranormal romance. And it was fun reading the reviews for that, because a lot of people were like, I really like this book, but I read the first one and I was like, wait, what? Because there's no shifters in Resolutions, but
yep.
you know,
I
in Bear
love
With
that.
Me there are.
And
So
now
I
I'm
like
going to go run and read Resolutions because I love Bear With Me so much. Like, I loved that story so much. I didn't realize.
Yes, I just released, I actually just released Resolutions in paperback. You can buy it on my website. I will, of course, have a copy for you. Like, yeah, Stacey and I like trade paperback, like it's whenever we see each other, it's like, here's my new book in paperback. But yeah, you can grab it. But I will also have it for sale, because I had to rush and release them because I'm doing Book Bonanza. I'm actually leaving tomorrow morning, but I will have them available for bookstores very, very soon. So you will be able to purchase Resolutions. What's the other one that I just did? Wolf of Wall Street. And I did special edition covers for my Everything's Better series. So I'm in the process of getting them up to be distributed wide. So of course you will know, because Love Sweet Arrow can tell you anytime I have a paperback, I will always do a pre-order bonus with them. So you definitely, like, if you can't wait, fine, grab it. But I would suggest waiting to get it from Love Sweet Arrow, because I will have like a very nice pre-order bonus, because I love my indie bookstores because they're good to me. And you know, I'm a bibliophile first and then an author. So yeah, I really have a soft spot in my heart for bookstores. So yeah, but yes, so I got off on a tangent. I have ADHD, but I will say, yeah, the every story takes place in the same universe. So you'll see, you know, maybe the characters will go to dinner in a restaurant that's actually from another book, or they'll go on vacation to, you know, the Sterling Beachfront Paradise. Like, everybody goes to the Sterling Beachfront Paradise for vacation. So yeah, you will see them everywhere. Oh yes, there it is. Yeah. So the Sterling Beachfront Paradise was basically like the third character in my book, Cherishing the Goddess, because this is the resort that they were fighting over. The two, it was enemies to lovers. It's in audio. I believe you can get the audio from Love Sweet Arrow, and you can get the paperback from Love Sweet Arrow of Cherishing the Goddess. But yes, that's the resort they were fighting over. And then in Everything's Better with Kimberly, they end up staying at the Sterling Beachfront Paradise in an apartment that's owned by, the protagonist's brother from Everything's Better with Abby. And then also in Everything's Better with Lisa, they go back to the Sterling Beach. So it's all connected.
I love it. I love it. I love when that happens. Like,
yeah,
I have at least 2 series. Like, there is a bagel shop that pops up in 3 of the books, and is also, I think, going to show up in the new series as well. Bookstore that's in Miracles and Menorahs expands however many years later, because there is a time gap in B'Nai Mitzvah Mistake. Yes, it is connected. Yes, it is Carol's second store. Yes, it is. Sarah is the person behind the counter, but no one actually understands that.
I love that.
And of course, one of my book hopping characters who refuses to stay in his own book, even though he has in fact had it. I like to think of this particular character as my equivalent of Nora Roberts' matchmaking grandpa, except he is he is a very wealthy, very connected individual who basically likes to make the world better and make everybody happy. And so
you love that.
Yes, it's I mean, I literally joked. I joked to someone when I wrote him in the first place. I was like, the only way I could write a Jewish billionaire in a book was if I made him the equivalent of, the Captain Planet version of Tikkun Olam. And I basically did, he's like, make the world better in like superhero format, basically, this guy. So like, he will show up anywhere and everywhere. I just have to be careful.
Yes.
Like,
that's another thing we have in common, is that we write like ethical billionaires, because I love writing wealthy people. I love it. I write blue collar people, but writing wealthy people, it's fun, but also, you really have to be mindful, because, the billionaires that we are, experiencing in real life are not, the kind that we would necessarily want to fall in love with in a book. So I also love that you do write your wealthy characters as ethical. I think it's important.
Yeah, no, it is important. Extremely so. In fact, fun fact, there was a conversation on social media with someone of blessed memory about taxes and how billionaires had to pay their taxes. And there was a whole section of History of Us that got written because of that. And also, Abe from Love and Latkes got his profession as a very specialized tax attorney because of that conversation. So, but I mean,
good.
It's important, it's important for billionaires, to be very vehement about paying their taxes, especially when they have that much as I have this particular character.
Yeah. And if they're not, because I definitely did not get into tax. I'm gonna make a note in future books, make sure my billionaires pay their taxes. But they're always very philanthropic, and they're not, assholes. I've tried writing alpha holes. It just never works out for me.
Yeah, I can't.
They always turn into cinnamon roll goofballs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you hear the story?
Which?
No, did I ever tell you the story about my my not so secret pen name? It was supposed to be a dark romance pen name, and they all turned into cinnamon rolls.
Oh my god, that's awesome! I love it though. Because I've always felt as a writer, mentally speaking, I can write people who can be alphas, but they're not. They can put on the mask and they can put on the armor, you know, but
Right.
like they're not, you know, they're more, they
Yeah.
can switch and they can become, but like, it's not, it's
Right.
not, it's not a thing I like to write at all.
No, and that's the thing. I can read. I read everything.
Yeah.
Like I read every romance genre.
Yeah.
I can read anything and enjoy it. But when it comes to like my characters, I really get to know them and then I kind of love them. I'm like, do I really, like, hasn't she been through enough? She's
Yeah,
already a single mom.
Exactly. Does she really
Like, does her love interest have to be an asshole too? Like, isn't there? Yeah. So I tried.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to read some a not so my not so secret pen name, they're just cinnamon rolls. But yeah.
It's
Yeah.
which
So
my brain is going. There was something that I wanted to ask when we were talking about. I will eventually get there. I will eventually get back because I was like, you see, I sit usually during conversations with a notepad, which I will absolutely show because I will show the back of the notepad, but
yeah.
I do have it.
Yeah, I have my phone and I'm trying like not to look at it as much, but I'm like, yeah same. We're paddling in the same boat.
Exactly. Like, because that's the thing. Like, when I was trying to figure out what the promo schedule for this book was going to be, once I decided, I did not have to decide what the theme was going to be. I got to choose people that I wanted to like talk with based on the like I decided.
I'm so excited you chose me. Yeah.
Of course, my God. Like one of the biggest things about this whole section is the fact that I got to talk with you and Zoe York. Like that, like, and like that, because
she's amazing.
Yes. Like when we talk about what's the word am I looking for? When we talk about taking self-publishing seriously, doing it as a business, doing it properly, the two people that come to my mind are you and her. Period. Like the two people that are at the top of my, because like, you talk about like all of the things, the promos, the covers, all of the things that you do fascinate the ever-loving Hades out of me because you have this
the shirts that I make.
Like all of the things, exactly. The shirts, the merch, everything tied to everything. It's kind of fantastic. Speaking of which, you did something very, very recently that I love to pieces that I think is fantastic. And I am completely surprised as to why no one thought of this before. But then again, that's how your brain works. And I wanted to talk about it a little while. The activity book.
Sure.
How did like
yes.
Like how did that happen?
Yes. You know, again, you know, my interests are all over the place. Like if I sat down and listed every job that I've had from like my first job as a bus girl at age 15 to, you know, writing books, there would be like 40 things. So, so one of my interests, I love games and puzzles, like everything, cryptographs, crossword puzzles, word searches, all these kinds of things. And once you do enough of them, you eventually kind of gravitate towards making them. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a romance themed activity book? It's like two of the things that I love, you know, it's kind of like, you know, my chocolate and my peanut butter like, together. And, you know, I kind of had an idea that it would appeal to other romance readers because we're also like, most of us are introverts, even though like, you know, we can turn on the extrovert when we need to. Most of us would rather just be sitting in like a semi-dark room with like just enough light to like read a page, and we're either doing our puzzles or we're knitting or we're reading a romance book. Like that's kind of our happy place. And you know, I thought, you know, if I am so excited about this idea and I love it so much, I bet other people would too. And literally every person that I told about it was like, yes, where is it? Can I have it now? And I'm like, well, I should probably make it first. Um, and yeah, it's doing insanely well. I'm actually going to start working on book 2. I knew there was going to be more than one. I was planning on spacing them out a little more, but you know, the book 1 is doing really well, so I'm gonna start working on book 2. But yeah, there's 69 puzzles. So there's 69 activities. There's coloring pages. There's word searches. There's crossword puzzles, and it's kind of like me. It's very chaotic. So it's not just a puzzle about historical romances or just about this or just about that. It is everything that is spanning the romance genre. So it's books, it's audiobook narrators, it's stores, you know, there's puzzles that are dedicated to authors. Like there's a Megan Quinn puzzle, there is a Brenda Jackson puzzle, there is a Ruby Dixon puzzle. There, you know, romance signing events, you know, kind of like a Mad Libs. I call them silly, smutty sentences because I don't want to get sued, but they're Mad Libs. So yeah, and coloring pages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know, I just, you know, somebody who, yes, I do write my own romance books, and I would love people to buy them. Please buy them from Love Sweet Arrow. But also, I am a lover of the romance genre, like everything about it. I like the podcasts, I like the blogs, I like the bookstagrammers, I like historical, fantasy, pirates. You know, just just inject it like I want it, all of it. So I kind of poured that into an activity book that people are really enjoying. So that's exciting.
And I love that, like, so much. Like, this is another reason why we're friends, because we are both fans of the genre, and you can see that first.
Yes.
I also want to give a very quick shout out to Meredith Shore, who is here tonight. I love her books.
Hi, Meredith.
Well.
Can we see everyone's faces? Is there a reason why, like, nobody's, I mean, you don't have to, I'm not, or anything, but yeah, if anyone feels like they want to show their face, they absolutely can. But hi, Meredith.
I loved As Seen on TV is also was her first book. Someone Just Like You.
I'm actually like looking it up right now because I am a junkie.
Only like as we're talking about being romance readers, right? Like, As Seen on TV is a book that only a romance and romance genre fan could write and pull off really, really well. It's like it's a city, for lack of a better explanation, it's a city romance. It's just, yeah.
Oh, I love the cover.
It's fantastic. And the second one, puppy too. But
everyone see that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Maybe. There we go. I don't know.
Yeah.
Close enough. But yes, it's an adorable cover.
And it's a great book. But I think, like, and that's the thing, like, we talk about where our books come from. They come from fandom, right? Of course.
Oh yeah. Like, a Blind Date with a Book Boyfriend was totally that vibe. And again, it, you know, it just, like, that book very quickly, and it just kind of poured out of me, and yeah, it really resonated with a lot of people because you could kind of feel that it's basically like a love letter to romance readers and indie bookstore owners. So yeah,
it is very awesome. I love that's, like, it's one of my favorites of yours. But, like, that also went into B'Nai Mitzvah and the series that follows, because it's the B'nai, like, the Last Girl Standing series is my love letter to romance families. It's my first family series. Like, I've written books about, like, with families to the side, but this is the first time where we've got the 4 cousins, where we've got, like, 4 people from the same family. And, like, it's interesting and fun because I'm about to switch Like I've got the first
Mm-hmm.
family, like the first branch done, and now I'm about to switch to the second. So like
And
thinking about,
I love that because you can like all of these books, they're all connected. It's just one of those things where you can just like take a stack of them and just on a Sunday, on a weekend, and just go through like, oh, this is the
yeah.
cousin, this is the brother, this is the, I love that. No, please continue.
But like it's interesting sort of thinking about the dynamics, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when you're writing a series, whether it's friends, whether it's families, like it's different perspective on a situation. And like,
Right.
you know, like how did these people grow up? What's the difference between these two? Like 2 kids versus 3, like what's how, you know, how are the parents involved this time? And like what's the story? Like how, like, you know, and also like turning a secondary character, that's another question. You talked about resolutions and bear with me, and you talked about like the way you switch a secondary character to a protagonist. How is
Yeah.
that process? Like you know them as a secondary character. How do you get to know a character that you've written about and turn them into a protagonist? How does that work?
So, yeah, so I don't know if, you know, it's just lucky that I've been able to turn this particular quirk of mine into like, you know, a job, but my characters, all of them pop into my head fully formed.
Mhm.
It is freaky. I have been very lovingly chastised for having, you know, my B characters that are just like super, super fleshed out. Like either I'll have someone either comment like, wow, like you really are, you know, go into depth with all of the characters. I'm like, yeah, because I know them all so well. So
Mhm.
it's actually pretty easy to kind of switch them over because everybody has everybody in this chat, everybody in this world, everybody has main character energy because they are the main character of their story. So it's for me, it's easy, you know, like, you know, if I wanted to write a book about like the taxi driver that, you know, drives them home from the airport, like I could totally because I know him. I know who he is. I know, like, you know, where he lives, how many brothers and sisters does he have? Is he married? Like, I know, you know, I just really relate to my characters like they are, you know, they are real people and they're just all in there, like, doing stuff. So everybody has main character potential all the time. And you know, the other thing that's super helpful is readers will actually read your books and tell you who the next book is going to be about. Yes, they will hop in my DMs and say, "When are we getting Matt's book?" And I'm like, "He was the villain." And they're like, "We don't care."
Yeah,
So yeah, so
that's another thing. Like one of the biggest, going from that to something else, because that's how like I'll pull and yank stuff. One of the biggest things that I had trouble with that shows up both in B'nai Mitzvah and in book 2
mhm.
is the thing
Do
that
we know the name of
happened.
book 2 yet?
The book 2 is called The Dating Contract. Um,
Mm.
yes, release has not been
And
finalized yet. But so there are a couple of things about the dating contract, which I will talk about briefly. Number one, there is a 5-year time jump between the B'nai Mitzvah
nice.
Mistake and the dating contract.
Okay.
And something happens just before the dating contract begins that changes the whole
Mm-hmm.
focus of the series.
Hmm.
But that said, going back to B'nai Mitzvah, And the thing that sort of appears in both of them, though not as much in the dating contract because it is 5 years later. The thing that separates, the thing that sort of stands in between Ash and and Judith and Leah and that whole situation, like it sort of ties into the question of like taking a villain and turning them into a protagonist, where, you know, like within this situation in B'nai Mitzvah, I needed to have a situation where it was nobody's fault, because I wanted to be able to have a character that like that where nobody did the nobody did the wrong thing, but that nobody was responsible, if that makes sense, for what happened. It does make sense. It needed to be divisive. It needed to be traumatic, because it was. But it couldn't be anybody's fault.
Yeah. Well, I am intrigued. But yeah, I take the same view towards my characters. Like I say, everybody has main character energy. Everybody's the star of their own story.
Yeah.
Also, I don't really write people who are truly villains.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe anyone is truly a villain, because any action that we all take, we all deeply believe that we're doing the right thing. At least the people in my books.
Yep.
So you will have a character that will do something so wrong that you're like, oh my God, this is irredeemable. But I hope, and so far so good, that I am able to write the characters in a way where you understand their perspective, but they also redeem themselves, you know, because, you know, your characters at the beginning of the book should be different than at the end of the book. And, you know, I do that for my protagonists, obviously, but also like kind of everybody. I feel like everybody in the books, you know, can really, everyone changes, you know, we're all just a product of, you know, the things that happen to us. And it's, you know, the stories that we write are just basically, you know, something happens. How are these people reacting to it? And it always changes you, you know, you're always a little bit different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't write, you know, I like to make my characters very, very three-dimensional. I don't write any like flat two-dimensional, like mustache twirling bad guy, like, you know, it's very like, I have a very good reason for why I'm doing this terrible thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully I will learn a lesson from it.
Yeah.
Which is why like people really want Matt from Cherishing the Goddess to get his own book, and he will. You just have to wait. I will write it, I promise.
You need to find the right situation for the character. You need to sort of like create a situation that works best.
I have it. It's just got to get out of my brain. That's the other thing too that we share in common. We have too many story ideas.
Yeah.
There are just too many story ideas. It's like you cannot write them fast enough, and especially, you know, like we also write like kind of big casts in our books. So, you know, it's like, does the butcher, like, what's with the cute guy that works at the deli? What's his story? Like, just wait. That's 15 books from now. Like, calm down.
Like,
we're gonna get there.
Exactly. There's a reason that happens. Like, there's a reason that this thing is mentioned. Right. You know?
Yeah. So, yeah. And I just kind of, and I feel this way about your books as well. Even through the parts that aren't like so, you know, cozy and happy, I really want my books to feel like a warm hug. I really just want you to feel good from the time you open them to the time you close them. Just you know? So I do, you know, I keep that in the back of my head
Yeah.
when I'm writing books. Cause I, you know, I say I write the books, the kind of books that I want to read.
Yes.
And I do. I'm a weirdo. I found out recently, most authors don't do this, but I reread my books constantly, like for comfort, not for any kind of like, oh, I should work on the plot here. No, like I'm generally like, oh my gosh, I love this story. So yeah, I think that comes through to my readers when I read reviews, because they feel the same way that I feel when I read my books. So that's gratifying. But you know, I want my readers to fall in love with, you know, not just the protagonist, the main characters, but like everybody and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So I also get that feeling with your books. It just feels like you're just kind of settling into this life, and it's, you know, you just kind of want to stay there. And
that's my hope. That's the plan. Cause like part of it, like I love world building. I love, you know, building this alternate universe where like all of these people are living and running around. And like, you know, the stores, like the stories, the hockey teams, because what's about to happen in the dating contract. Well, so the empires, and there are a couple of names that should sound familiar if people have read the hockey anthologies going on. I Sing the Puck and Roughing It.
Yes, Stacey loves hockey. Like, if you did not know that, like, yeah.
I can't help finding things about the sport that fascinate me. Hence, in fact,
we need to go to a hockey game.
Yes,
I want to go
this coming season. We need to. We absolutely need to. No question.
Yes. Stacey's been trying to get me to write a hockey romance for like 3 years, and I'm like, girl, I don't know anything about hockey except they fight and they're cute. That's all I know.
I was like, I have been trying to get her to write one, because like her style of writing.
I read hockey romances. I love them. I love hockey romances.
And your style of writing.
I don't know.
Well, but that's another story. But like, so where was I? Where am I? Where I was going somewhere with this, and then the train.
You know what? Can we pause for 1 second, because my laptop was full when we started, but now it's giving me like the little thing, so I don't want to cut off. So enjoy this wall.
As I babble a little bit about, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for coming tonight as we're talking. Tomorrow, I will be in conversation with Heidi Shertock, whose book Unorthodox Love comes out in July, in an event hosted by Pockets Books in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And then Friday, speaking of hockey romance, I am back on my Instagram series, A Little Bit of Everything, with Deanna Gray, whose Mendel Hawk series I am in the middle of at the moment. And let me tell you, it is really, really good. The first, like I am nose deep in the first book. I have like, and the other 2 episodes, one with Felicia Grossman and one with Lisa Lynn, are available on my Instagram. So A Little Bit of Everything, episode 3 on Friday. Tomorrow, Heidi Shertock, and now Lucy Eden is back, and we get to talk about awesome things. So
yes, and of course, for my very good friend, there is a hockey themed puzzle in the activity book.
I thought I was like,
yeah.
But speaking of,
and it's shaped like a puck. Did you see?
Yes, I was like, that is fantastic. I loved it. But what was I going to say? My brain is all over the place tonight, because that's what happens, right? So something that's happened recently, brand new information. The Chicago Jewish Book Festival is happening in July, from July 20th to the 22nd. It looks like I will be there. So
amazing.
Yes. So I just wanted to kind of be all excited about that and point that out as we were talking in an event with Leslie Darrow. Yes, I'm excited. So I will pass along the information to anybody who wants it. But yes, Chicago Jewish Book Festival first. I guess it's the first year they're doing it. Out of Congregation Emmanuel. Leah Jones, who is the host of Finding Favorites, which is an amazing, fun podcast that I was on a couple weeks ago, is the person who is in charge of the festival and Congregation Emmanuel in Chicago. Anyway, hockey. So back to hockey.
Yes.
The New York Empires are part of a series that I wrote with Isabel Kelly, Cassandra Carr, Heather Lear, and Laura Hunsacker. 3 different anthologies. And I wrote a family of siblings, 3 different players with a couple of paranormal elements, as you were talking about, Lucy, about how in your universe the paranormal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Same with this one. Same with mine at this point.
Love that. I love that.
Yep. So, but nobody talks about paranormal things in the rest of the books, but be aware that they exist. So anyway, in book 2, we start to talk. I think we started in book 1. Actually, I think we mentioned it in B'Nai Mitzvah. That one of Leah, whose book 2 is, whose book the dating contract is, signs a very interesting and really cool client in B'Nai Mitzvah. And that plot line has some interesting twists and turns that take us through at least book 3. So, which is all tied to the story, my story in Roughing It, which is the 3rd book in the Empire series. So we talk about verses.
It's amazing.
I'm excited. But idea 5.
And they're interconnected, but they're all standalone. So you can, you don't necessarily have to, but it's like you pick up another book written by Stacey and you're like, oh, there's my friend from this book that I love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you have this idea that you've been sitting with for years and you get to write it, talk to me about that excitement, because that excitement is real.
It is very real. So I am working on a book. I actually, it's funny because people ask me how long it takes me to write books.
Me or did my internet go? Okay. All right. My internet did not go. All right. Where's my phone? Anyway. Let's see. Okay. But as we wait for Lucy to figure out the internet, I will say that the book that I'm about to start to write is book 3 in the series. And it's an idea that I've had since at least 2019. And I am absolutely thrilled to start to figure it out and kind of like pull it together. I'm just really excited. This is a series that I'm really enjoying finally getting into. And there will absolutely be a short story that takes place in between the dating contract and the B'Nai Mitzvah Mistake. Closer to the release of the dating contract, that I will release the short story either through my newsletter or do what I did with the 5th question, which actually in the next at some point very soon, the anthology, The Hope Connection, which is a compilation of all 4 of my rogue stories, my political romances, and the 5th question, which is my pandemic Passover story, will come out I am excited for that to happen. And but the point is that the first release of the fifth question came through Lucy's newsletter, Notes from Paradise, which if you're not subscribed to, you absolutely should, because it is a masterclass in how to newsletter. It's pretty much a magazine at this point. It's kind of amazing. But oh, excellent. Hey, I was just talking about your newsletter. So, and the release of welcome back.
Sorry, everybody.
Internet
I think
is
my
weird.
internet is like, yeah, it's like trying to tell me to go to bed because I have to get up early
Oh.
to go to Texas tomorrow. But I'm having fun talking. So I'm so sorry. What were we discussing?
You were talking about an idea, like basically I had asked you about what happens when you get to finally write a story that you've been like thinking about for years. And then the first thing you said was sometimes about how long it takes you to write a book in the context.
Yeah. So, and this is also like really good advice for anyone who writes as well. Every scene that you're writing, it should be fun. Like if you're writing a scene and it's boring, like don't write that scene, because if you're bored writing it, people are going to be bored reading it. So, most of my books, I just really have a lot of fun writing them. And what gets me really excited is developing like just a really cool idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, this book that I'm diligently working on, I'm writing like 3 books at the same time. Do not recommend. 1 star. This book that I'm diligently working on, it's set mostly in Hawaii. I studied the language, made lots of friends doing research for this book, traveled to Hawaii. Like it's just a story that I'm like really excited to tell. And it's also, the protagonist is a beloved B character from another book that people were saying, well, when is this person going to get their story? When are they going to get their story? So yeah, I it's just exciting because I also get excited for people to read. Like when I'm typing something, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait for people to read. I cannot wait for people to read this. Like this is like so awesome. And I also want to know how the books end.
Yeah.
So I have to finish them. But yeah, it's exciting. Like, you should really love all of the stories that you're writing, and it should be like exciting getting them down on paper. I mean, there are definitely some parts of birthing a book that suck. It's not all rainbows and roses, but a lot of it is a lot of fun. It's great that we are really great at having these amazing ideas and developing them, and being able to present them to people who love them just as much as we do. So yeah, it's I'm having fun. So yeah, that's a very long way to answer your question.
No, but that's the thing. Like it's important. Like
it is awesome.
Like the way that I see it is this: when we're having these conversations, however the answer goes is how the answer goes, and I think that's important too. Like, if people wanted like tight answers, they should read a newspaper article or something like that.
I like to write.
Exactly.
Don't ask an author for a concise answer.
That's never going to work ever. Because
my favorite,
But like my favorite thing about this, like this whole series, has been these conversations, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to inspire someone. You never know what people are going to say, and I think that's the most important.
You never know when someone's internet is going to fail.
Hey, and like, I mean, I babbled about the fact that like And the next, at some point soon, who knows, the anthology called The Hope Connection is going to release, which is my 4 rogue stories plus the 5th question, my pandemic Passover story that you published for the first time in your newsletter. And I was
in my newsletter.
I was singing the praises of your newsletter because it is freaking amazing.
Yeah, see, that's just kind of another thing. I since I was very, very little, I've been obsessed with magazines and fashion magazines and just all kinds of magazines. So, you know, when I discovered as an indie author that I would have to do my own newsletter, it just kind of morphed into, you know, just this thing that's not necessarily romance related that I love, and I'm able to like combine the two because, you know, as romance readers and lovers, we are very multifaceted. We contain multitudes. So, you know, it's not just one thing. But yes, I love my newsletter because it's not just about me. Oh, Meredith, so good to see you. I'm actually going to need to log off soon. Are we doing questions?
I think, are there questions?
Okay. If we are, then I should probably shut up because I do have to log off soon too, because I do have to be at the airport at the like crack of dawn, like the butt crack of dawn tomorrow. But yeah, I could talk about like magazines and newsletters all the time, but definitely sign up for my newsletter because it is not just about me. It is really, you know, it's just about romance in general. So I do interviews, I do giveaways, there's always freebies, and it's not, you know, you will always walk away from my newsletter with like 10 books added to your TBR. Sorry, not sorry. And yeah, you might win a giveaway because there are giveaways in every single newsletter. So yeah, I love it. It's a labor of love. It's really fun for me. And if you're an author, I have a separate newsletter that's just for like bookish industry people. That's full of promo opportunities, newsletter swaps, yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. I like to, you know, I like to really get involved in all things romance because I love it. I love it so. So Stacey, so I mean, seems like we're wrapping up. So I wanna ask you, um, why should we all go pick up this book right now? Like, what do you want to leave readers with?
A sense of excitement, a sense of being able to find the things that you love, the things that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like the fact that you can find the people you love in a place and a sport and an area that isn't, that's not always friendly. Having real life friends like you, and having like, you know, communities that you can talk to, having people makes whatever journey it is a lot easier. And that's a lot of what I put into Ash's story, and that all he's, you know, he wants to create a space that he didn't have when he was playing to make it easier for those who are playing. So.
That's beautiful. Yeah. It is. And you know, it's funny, whenever as authors or readers, we talk to people about romance books, they always who are outside of the genre, they always focus on, oh, there's sex in that book. But it's like, okay, but what about the other 90%? Like,
Yeah.
it's not just, and listen, I read those books too, and I write them sometimes. But you know, it is, you know, it's not, it's they're love stories, and it's not just about love between the main protagonists. It's about families and communities and, you know, love, you know, just wherever you can get it, which I love, which makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And I definitely love when I can read books, because my books tend to, culturally, they're kind of like all over the place.
Yeah.
Which, it is interesting to me, but that also comes from my love of being able to immerse myself, reading wise, not appropriate, but immerse myself in a book, in someone else's culture, and really feel the similarities. Just it's so, I don't know how to explain it, just how like, how alike we all are, and how relatable everything is. Everybody's mom is the same, like whether it's like a Russian mom or Italian or Black or Jewish, there's, it's the same kind of overbearing love, but also meddling, but also like, did you eat? Are you warm enough? Like every single, there's no, so yeah. And I just love how culturally rich your books are, which is, is amazing, because it really immerses you in the story. You start to forget that you're reading a book, which I love. So
which coming from you especially, like the way that, whether, no matter what it is, whether it's a paranormal or a contemporary, whether it's in a small town or like in the middle of an office building, like your books have that sense too. Your books have that sense of immersion.
Oh, thank you.
It might not be culture, but you're immersed with the characters, whoever they are, and whatever their world is. And I think that's so important.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, we all kind of need the same thing. We all kind of want the same thing. And I just love that. Oh my God, thank you so much for inviting me. I got like super terrible FOMO watching all of your Instagram lives. And I was like, one day I'm going to be special enough.
This is something that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. And the fact that we got to do this for this makes me deliriously excited. So
yes, and thank you everybody for joining. But yeah, this was amazing. So if does anybody have a question? I will be at Book Bonanza. I will be trading friendship bracelets. So if you, I did personalized ones, pre-orders. So you can pick those up at my thing, but I do have, friendship bracelets that I will be trading. If you don't have a bracelet to trade, I will literally take anything. I've gotten like lollipops. Somebody made me like a teeny tiny, it's on my Instagram page, a teeny tiny book of everything, not everything. It's Blind Date with a Book Boyfriend. It is my most like treasured possession. So yes, I will just barter. I will just trade anything. Just come say hi and get a bracelet. And I also will have what do you call those things? Emergency packets, because we're going to be crammed in a convention center with 2,700 people. So got to keep your immunity up. But I'm just excited to see everybody. And thank you, Bookstore Romance Day, and Stacey and Love Sweet Arrow for having me. I'm over the moon every time I get invited to something. Like, as an author, it still feels like, why? But thank you.
This has been so much fun. Like, thank you for everyone for joining us. Thank you to Lucy for saying yes. Thank you to Billy for organizing all of this. This is kind of fantastic. And thank you to Love Sweet Arrow for hosting. This is like, I just had a really, really great time, and I'm just so glad. I consider me this little like happy little marshmallow right now.
Yeah, anytime I can sit with Stacey and talk about romance books, it's always a good time. Yeah, and definitely keep your ears open when I get back from Book Bonanza. Before I go to One Love Reunion and Steamy Lit, I am going to get those paperbacks up so you can get them in bookstores and get those pre-order bonuses.
And I will send more information about the Hope Connection, Chicago, and the signing in Virginia that I'm doing. Once I have those details, both, I'll put that on my website, but also in my newsletter. So, and at some point, you and I will discuss whether the short story featuring the thing that changes the whole focus of the series will be in your newsletter or somewhere else.
I hope it will be.
Oh yeah, it'll be in your newsletter then.
Awesome sauce.
Yay.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I do have to go. My eyes are starting to droop. But yes, I will see you when I get back, Stacey.
All right. Have a
Bye,
wonderful
everybody.
time. I can't wait to hear about it. Bye. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you all for coming. Safe
So
travels, Lucy. Thank you to Stacey and Lucy and Love Sweet Arrow, and everyone have a great night. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you again for hosting. This is amazing. Bye.
Bye.